Yes, indeed. Well, the election campaigns have gone largely according to plan. Friday was officially the last day of campaigning. Today is the first round of voting. And so we have 12 candidates who are trying to get through the first round.
Yeah.
They range from the extreme right with Éric Zemmour to the very left-wing Jean-Luc Mélenchon. There are many candidates in between, but those with the most probable chances of success are Emmanuel Macron, the sitting president, Marine Le Pen, the leader of the National Rally Party, and Jean-Luc Mélenchon, who I would describe as a grassroots leftist who is very anti-globalization, and who's someone who, as many French leftists, who he still harks back to the days of global revolution and Marxist movements. For the first round opinion polls, which are usually pretty accurate in France, they put 26% of the share of the vote going to Emmanuel Macron, 22% to Marine Le Pen, and 17% to Jean-Luc Mélenchon. So, at a push, Mélenchon could actually tip Marine Le Pen. Who knows?
Nabila, how much has Marine Le Pen detoxified the Front National? I mean, it's now called something different, isn't it? But I mean, it was very easy once upon a time to categorise Front National as on the far right when you look at some of their policies, particularly with the influence at the time of her father when he was leader of the party. But lots of commentators now seem to say actually they're a right-wing party, but more mainstream. They've dropped a lot of their kind of toxic policies, and therefore they're tapping into more mainstream French opinion. Is that a legitimate assessment?
Well, I think what made her more mainstream is in this election, you have seen the emergence of a candidate like Éric Zemmour, who makes her look remarkably moderate. He's somebody who has 3 convictions for spreading religious and racial hatred. The last one in date was for him appearing on live television suggesting that child immigrants are all potentially rapists and murderers. He's somebody who actually described Maréchal Pétain of the Vichy government during the Second World War as somebody who protected the Jews. Now, that goes against all the facts of history. So the emergence of an extremist like him made her policy more palatable, if you like, but she still carries on with her hard right program. She's suggesting now to fine women who wear a headscarf in the public space, and indeed clamp down on immigration by 75%. Not only reduce immigrants who are coming to France, but also clamp down on those who are already here. She has desperately been trying to distance herself from her toxic father, who, let's not forget, is a convicted Holocaust denier, a racist and anti-Semite. But he remains a major figure in the party, and a lot of her supporters remain fundamentally loyal to him, and he crucially remains her father. And let's not forget that her party was literally founded by Holocaust deniers and former soldiers, Third Reich soldiers who fought in the Nazi Waffen-SS.
So where's her support coming from? Because obviously the vast majority of French people would not have any truck with Holocaust denial. But if she's, closing the polls to this extent where people are suggesting there's an outside chance she could win the presidency, where's her core support coming from, and why?
Well, we've seen younger people in particular, haven't we?
Yes, indeed. That was a very peculiar survey because it goes against the grain of, young people. You usually think they would be have more progressive ideas, more liberal ideas, but to actually be associated to such a party with such a dark legacy is quite astonishing. But I think, general presidential elections are like any other elections, like presidential rejections. So there's a lot of disillusionment with the Macron administration. People feel that he has been spending way too much time on the phone trying to sort out the war in Ukraine rather than look at day-to-day concerns of ordinary French people. And I think she taps into that disillusionment and the fact that France is a country of dissent and of protests. There was a massive anti-Macron movement, the Yellow Vest, who feel, that somebody needs to address issues such as the cost of living, price of fuel.
Parallels with Brexit and the election of Trump, do you think? The left behinds taking their revenge on an out-of-touch political establishment?
Well, to a certain extent. percent, although Marine Le Pen is ditching issues such as Brexit, for example. But the reason why Marine Le Pen's policies, if we can call them that, are more shallow is because they have no substance. Like if she, by some miracle, were to be elected as President of France, which I don't believe for a second, for many reasons, not least of all, you know, she's has struggled as a politician for decades. She was rejected as a would-be MP for many years in the Northern France constituency, only getting a parliamentary seat at her 5th attempt. She has been rejected twice as a presidential candidate. She has no serious political program. She's economically illiterate, has to be said. She would have no political allies, and crucially, she wouldn't be able to have a parliamentary majority to pass through any legislation. Now, the French system is an odd one in the sense that a powerful individual can succeed, but on their own rights, if as it were. But to turn years of mediocrity into this success story overnight, I think seems incredibly unlikely.
Thank you, Nabila. And just very quickly, when do we get the results of this round of voting?
We'll get them later today, probably more accurate figures tomorrow morning, and crucially, the second round would be on the 24th of April in 2 weeks' time.
Well, hopefully we can get you back on then to discuss it.
Oh, absolutely. That's fascinating. Actually, I'd forgotten how many times Marine Le Pen had actually ran for office. That's fascinating. Resilience, if nothing else.